Hey, how was your day? Tonight, I want to tell you a story about a parking machine, not a haunted house, not a mountain road. Just one of those old mechanical parking towers you still see in Korea sometimes. The kind where you drive your car into a narrow metal box, step out, and trust the machine to swallow it safely. You know the kind. The entrance is barely wider than your mirrors. The floor has yellow guidelines. There is always a red emergency button behind cloudy plastic. And when the machine starts moving, it makes that old metal sound, not smooth, not modern. More like something heavy remembering how to wake up. Most people do not think about it. They park, they take the ticket, they leave. But the man in this story did think about it. He hated mechanical parking towers, and after what happened to him, he never used one again. Because that night the machine started before he got out of the car, and while he was trapped inside it, he heard a voice through the intercom. The voice did not say, "Help him." It did not say, "Stop the machine." It said, "Wait, that is not the one. So listen carefully." If a parking attendant ever apologizes too quickly, ask yourself what kind of mistake he thinks he made. The man was 32. He worked for a small interior company that renovated offices, clinics, cafes, and old apartments. Most of his work was measurements, floor plans, invoices, and late-night visits to buildings that looked much worse after business hours. That night, he had to deliver revised drawings to a client who owned a private study center. It was supposed to be simple. Come before 9, hand over the drawings, go home. But one delay became another. A supplier sent the wrong estimate. A ceiling measurement had to be checked again. Then traffic on the river road barely moved for 40 minutes. By the time he reached the building, it was almost 11:30. The area was one of those mixed office streets that feel alive in the day and abandoned at night. On the first floor there was a pharmacy with the shutters down, a small cafe, dark except for the refrigerator light, a real estate office with old listings taped to the glass. Above them were clinics, academies, and small companies with frosted windows. The building was not tall, maybe 6 floors. But beside it, squeezed between the wall and a narrow alley, there was a mechanical parking tower. It looked older than the building. The paint on the metal frame had peeled into gray flakes. The warning stickers were sun-bleached. One sign still said, in stiff red letters, "Turn off engine, exit vehicle, wait outside." The man noticed that sign. He noticed it because he was exactly the kind of person who read warning signs when he was nervous. The outdoor spaces were full. Every white line had a car in it. Some were parked halfway onto the curb. He drove around once, then twice. There was nowhere to stop. He called the client. No answer. He tried again. This time the client picked up and sounded irritated. At least, the man thought it was the client. The name on the screen was correct. The voice was close enough. But there was a small clicking sound under it, like someone holding an old radio too close to the mouthpiece. "Use the parking tower," the client said. "The attendant is still there." The man looked at the tower. The entrance was open. Inside, 2 fluorescent lights flickered over the metal platform. There was a small booth beside it with yellowed glass. In the booth sat an older parking attendant wearing a navy jacket and a cap pulled low over his eyes. The man lowered his window. "Is it still running?" The attendant nodded. "Drive in slowly. I can just leave it outside for 5 minutes." "No space outside. I only need to drop something off." The attendant looked past him, not at his face, at the car behind him. A black sedan was waiting near the alley entrance. Its headlights were off, but the engine was running. The man could not see the driver. The windshield was too dark, but he felt watched from behind it. The attendant's mouth moved once before he spoke. Not to the man, to someone farther away. The attendant tapped the side of the booth. "Go in, quick." The man did not like the tone, but someone behind him tapped the horn lightly, not an angry honk, just one polite sound, like a finger on the back of his neck. So he rolled forward. The tower swallowed the headlights first, then the hood, then the windshield. The space inside was colder than outside. The metal walls were close enough that his own car reflected back at him, stretched and warped. He stopped when the red light turned on. A recorded guidance voice should have played. Something polite and mechanical. "Put the vehicle in park, turn off the engine, please exit the platform," but nothing spoke. Usually you stop, put the car in park, get out, and let the machine take the empty car. But before he could unbuckle his seatbelt, the door behind him began to close. At first, he thought he had imagined it. Then the alley outside became a strip of light, then a thin line, then nothing. The metal door locked. "Excuse me?" His voice sounded too small inside the car. "Sir, I'm still inside. For 1 second, nothing happened. Then the platform moved. The whole car lifted with a heavy mechanical groan, and the man's stomach dropped as if the building had taken a breath under him. He grabbed the steering wheel. Hey! The machine kept moving. He hit the horn. The sound exploded inside the metal chamber. It came back from every side. He stopped because, for 1 second, the echo made it sound like other cars were honking with him in the dark. He took out his phone. No service. Not one bar. Not even the emergency-only message phones sometimes show when they are desperate to be useful. Just a grey symbol and the time, 11:32. He remembered that time because later, when he checked everything again, it would not be there. He tried calling the client. The call failed. He tried emergency services. Nothing. The car continued rising, then it shifted sideways. That was when the man understood something worse than panic. The machine did not feel broken. Broken machines jerk. They stutter. They grind as if they are fighting themselves. This one moved with purpose. Metal teeth clicked somewhere under the floor. The envelope of drawings slid from the passenger seat. He shouted again, "I'm inside! Stop it!" This time, something answered. It was a burst of radio static, followed by a man's voice coming from somewhere above the windshield. The voice said, "Confirm the number." Another voice answered, quieter. "Last 4 digits, 7132. The man stopped breathing. His plate did not end in 7132. It ended in 7138. He knew that because he typed his plate number into parking apps all the time. 7138. So the voice was not guessing, it was comparing. The first voice came again. "Say it again. 7132. That is not what went in. Static." Then a third voice, older and flatter. "Did he get out?" The man leaned toward the windshield. "No, I did not get out. I'm here." Silence. Then the first voice said, "He heard us." The platform stopped so sharply that the seatbelt locked across his chest. The only sound was the engine idling and the small clicking noise of the hazard lights he had turned on without noticing. The man looked through the windshield. Nothing but a square of dark metal. He looked into the rearview mirror. The same. A sealed metal throat. Then something moved on the left. Through the thin gap between two panels, he saw another car hanging in the next bay. An old white sedan. Dust on the windshield. One handprint on the inside of the glass. The handprint was not flat. It had dragged downward. 5 pale streaks through the dust, as if someone had pressed against the window and slowly slipped out of sight. Then the machine shifted again and the sedan disappeared. The radio voice returned. "Open it!" Another voice snapped back. "We cannot open it here." "Then bring it down." "If we bring it down, the next one will see." "The next one is outside." The man thought of the black sedan behind him, headlights off, engine running. The polite little horn. He tried to remember the driver, but he could not. He had not looked. The old voice came back. "This is the wrong car." Not angry, not panicked, just disappointed. That frightened him more than anything else. Because if this was the wrong car, then there was a right one. And whatever the machine had started doing to him was meant for somebody else. He lowered the window and reached for the emergency button mounted on the wall. It was just outside the driver's side, behind a small plastic cover. His fingers touched the cover. The plastic was dusty and greasy. He pushed. It would not open. He used his car key to pry the edge. The key slipped and cut the skin near his thumb. He barely felt it. The moment the cover cracked, the intercom screamed with feedback. Then the old voice said, very close to his ear, "Do not touch that." The man pulled his arm back inside so fast that his elbow hit the door. He stared at the speaker grill above the platform control panel. There was no face, no camera he could see, only a small black circle near the ceiling that might have been a screw cap, or a sensor, or an eye. It blinked once with a red point of light. But the voice had reacted before he pressed the button, as if it knew his hand was there, as if the tower could feel him. The platform started moving downward, slowly at first, then faster. Cold air came up through the floor vents. It smelled like oil, wet concrete, and something old that had been closed for too long. The voices returned, overlapping now. Bring him back. He saw the side bay. He does not know what he saw. He heard the number. Then wipe it. Not inside the car. Then send it down. Wrong car, still a witness. Wrong car, still awake. At the last word, the man put the car in drive. There was nowhere to go. But he needed his hand to do something. He pressed the brake. The red brake lights filled the chamber behind him. And in that red light, something appeared in the rearview mirror. Not outside the car, inside the reflection. A face, small, pale, pressed close behind the back seat headrest. The man screamed and turned around. There was nothing in the back seat, just his jacket, a water bottle, the drawings on the floor. He looked back at the mirror. The face was gone. The platform stopped again. This time the stop was gentle, almost careful. Then the old voice spoke one final time. Return him. The machine began to reverse. The car rose, shifted sideways, dropped, rose again. Every motion was slow enough to be deliberate. The man held the wheel with both hands and whispered without knowing he was doing it. Please, please, please. At last the platform settled back at ground level. The front door opened first, then the back door opened. The alley light came in behind him. The attendant walked toward him from the booth. Same navy jacket, same cap, same tired face. I'm sorry, the attendant said. His voice was normal now, low and embarrassed. The man stared at him. I was inside. Yes, I know. Very sorry. I heard people talking. The attendant did not answer immediately. That tiny delay was enough. Then he smiled, but only with his mouth. Maintenance channel. Do not worry. The man looked toward the booth. Inside, hanging from a nail, was a walkie-talkie, but it was off. No light, no sound, no battery pack on the back. The attendant held out both hands, palms open. You can go. The way he said it did not sound like an apology. It sounded like permission. What about the car behind me? For the first time, the attendant's eyes changed. Not much, just enough. What car? The man looked into the alley. The black sedan was gone. No headlights, no engine sound, no space where it could have turned around. The alley was too narrow. There was a car behind me. The attendant tilted his head. You came alone. The man wanted to argue, but he suddenly felt he should leave. So he backed out. Too fast. The right tire scraped the guide rail. The attendant did not move. He stood under the fluorescent light, watching him leave. The client called before the man reached the main road. Where are you? The man had forgotten the client existed. He pulled over. I'm not coming up. What? Send me an email. I will send the drawings tomorrow. You said you were downstairs. I was. Then why are you leaving? The man looked at the building in the rearview mirror. The parking machine started with me inside. The client was quiet. What parking machine? The tower beside your building. We do not have a parking tower. There is a paid lot across the street. Outdoor. We tell everyone to park there. You told me to use the tower. No, I did not. You said the attendant was still there. I said the guard is still there, the security guard in the lobby. The man checked his call history. There were 2 calls to the client, one at 11:23, one at 11:31. But no call had connected before he parked. The call he remembered did not exist. There was no missed call, no connected call, no record of the voice that had told him where to go. The log jumped from an earlier work call straight to the client's real call after he had escaped. He drove home without turning on the radio. At home, he sat in his car for almost 10 minutes before going upstairs. He could not make himself turn off the engine, proof he was not still inside. Then he remembered the dash camera. At first, he did not want to check it, because there are some memories you can survive only if you let them stay uncertain. But uncertainty is patient. It sits in your room with you. It waits beside your bed. And eventually, you either look at the proof, or you spend the rest of your life imagining worse proof. He took the memory card out with shaking fingers and opened it on his laptop. There was a file from 11:28. The footage showed the dark street, the full outdoor parking spaces, the narrow entrance of the tower, the attendant in the booth, and the black sedan waiting behind him. The man paused the video. The sedan was there. He leaned closer. The windshield was too dark to see the driver. The plate was washed out by the reflection from his brake lights. Only the last 2 digits were visible. 3, 2, pause. He rewound it, paused, played it frame by frame. The plate kept dissolving in the glare, but the last 2 digits stayed clear. His own plate ended in 38. The voice in the machine had said 7132. He played the rest. The car entered the tower. The doors closed. The screen went dark except for the dashboard reflection. For a long time, the audio was metal, horn echoes, and his own shouting. Then the radio voices appeared, faint but there. Confirm the number, 7132. That is not what went in. He kept listening. Near the end, just before the platform returned to the ground, there was something he had not heard at the time. The old voice, very close to the microphone, whispered, "Let this one go." A second voice answered, "And the right one?" For 5 seconds there was only static. Then the old voice said, The right one is still waiting. After that, just before the file ended, there was one more sound. Not from inside the tower, not from his car, a horn, one small polite tap, the same sound that had pushed him forward. The file ended there, silence. The man did not sleep that night. In the morning he drove back. Not because he was brave, because people do stupid things when they need the world to become normal again. The pharmacy was open. The cafe was open. The real estate office had a woman inside watering a plant. The alley beside the building was there, but the parking tower was not. Where the entrance had been, there was only a brick wall and 2 outdoor air conditioning units. The brick was old, not newly installed. The pipes were dusty. The air conditioning units had rust under them. Whatever had been there last night had not been removed in the morning. No metal door, no booth, no guidelines, no old attendant. He walked around the building twice. Nothing. The security guard in the lobby told him the same thing. Parking tower? No, not here. Maybe the old building behind us? They demolished that years ago. The man tried to show him the dash camera footage, but when he opened the file again, the video was different. It still showed him turning into the side alley. It still showed the parking tower. But the black sedan was gone. The attendant was gone. The booth was empty. The entrance looked open, but no one waved him in. The man watched himself drive into the machine alone. The doors closed. Then the audio cut to silence. No voices, no horn, no shouting, not even his own breathing. Just silence until the car backed out again. The guard looked uncomfortable. Maybe your file is damaged. The man nodded because that was easier. He took back the memory card. For weeks he avoided parking towers, then months, then years. He changed jobs, he sold the car, he moved to another district. But there is one thing he never figured out. The tower had returned him because he was the wrong car. The black sedan behind him was supposed to be the right one, but when he checked the footage the second time, the sedan had disappeared. So he started wondering, what if the machine had not been waiting for the sedan? What if the sedan had been waiting for him? What if the polite little horn was not telling him to hurry up, but telling him to go first? Because sometimes, when you are almost taken by something, you think survival means you escaped. But maybe survival only means you were returned. Maybe something looked at you in the dark, read the number on your car, and decided, not yet. That is why I do not like mechanical parking towers. I know most of them are safe. I know they are just machines. But when the doors close behind a car and the platform starts moving, there is always a moment when the driver has to trust something he cannot see. And if you are ever inside one, and it starts before you get out, do not waste your breath asking if the machine is broken. Listen. Listen carefully to the voices behind the wall, because if they sound disappointed, that may be the only reason you are still alive. And if one of them says, wrong car, do not correct them. Just stay quiet, and pray they keep believing it.